All right, guys, welcome back. So in this one, there's a student that tries to pretty much question on why we should follow the Bible as opposed to any other scriptures that are out there. So let's take a look and let's react to it.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name's Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello, nice to meet you.
You too.
So
Matthew, by the way, means gift from God. Did you know that?
you're welcome. So, my question is, you are of the conclusion that the statements of the Christian Bible is the true account of why we're here.
Sure.
Why should I believe that account as opposed to maybe like the Book of the Latter-day Saints or the Quran?
Excellent question.
That is the number one question that a lot of people have is why should I believe the Bible as opposed to anything else that's out there, or Christianity as opposed to anything else that's out there? And if you don't know how to answer this question, then there's no way for you to try to convince them otherwise. But I think Frank does a good job at pretty much explaining this.
It's a great question because there's evidence that the
Evidence.
New Testament accounts were written early by eyewitnesses, which contain embarrassing testimony they wouldn't have made up, which they died for, which also had.
I think that's the big key right there. It's not so much that they were eyewitnesses. Is the simple fact that they actually decided to die for what they believed to be true. If it was a lie and they were just trying to play everybody, I don't think they would sacrifice themselves for that.
Which also has extra biblical testimony from outside sources, which has Old Testament prophecy behind it, which has elaborate testimony that you couldn't explain unless they were eyewitnesses. In fact, your own Tim McGrew talks about that. It's called undesigned coincidences. There's archaeological evidence which backs it all up. Whereas if you look at the Quran, let's just take a look at the Quran. The Quran was written after Muhammad died. He died in 632 AD. It was standardized by the third Muslim caliph Uthman in 650 AD. And the Quran does not contain any miracles done by Muhammad. All the miracles attributed to Muhammad were attributed to him about 150 years or so later in the Hadith, the written traditions and sayings of what Muhammad said and did. So there are no eyewitness miracles of Muhammad. In fact, Muhammad denied doing miracles. Now, in the Quran, it says Jesus never died or rose from the dead. A substitute was put in his place. That's Surah 4, verse 156.
Mind you, not the Quran, but Muhammad himself came in about 500 to 600 years after Jesus. So you're telling me that how is he going to know what happened to Jesus Christ? Please, someone explain that to me, because everybody seems to ignore that fact that Muhammad came after, and yet he's trying to say what actually happened to Jesus.
7. This book is written over 600 years after the events. But you go back to the New Testament, and you've got 8 or 9 sources, depending upon who wrote the book of Hebrews, which has all of this evidence in it, which has been verified to be eyewitness testimony, and there's archaeological evidence behind it, that indicates that Jesus really did die and rise from the dead. Well, he certainly died, we know that. Even the great skeptic Bart Ehrman admits he died. There's no ancient historian who says that what the Quran says is true regarding Jesus. Even atheists admit Jesus died on the cross in 30 or 33 AD. So if you're going to look to a book to tell you what happened to Jesus, or you're going to look at a book that came 600 years after the events, or you're going to look at a collection of eyewitness documents written by contemporaries who were there, I'm going to go with the people who were there. Now, when you get to the Latter-day Saints, that's obviously even much further ahead. That's in the 1840s. And they're adding books to the Bible and saying that the Bible hasn't been translated right, or that it hasn't been copied right, or whatever. And the Mormon view, doesn't mean every Mormon believes this, but Mormons are polytheists. As man is, God once was. So they're adding a whole nother realm to the Christian worldview and actually going from theism to polytheism. And if you look for archaeological evidence for the Jews here in North America, or anything the Book of Mormon talks about, you will not find it. So that's why. And our book goes into great detail, by the way, Matthew. Here's a follow-up. Go ahead. Your follow-up. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask if you believe there are any prophets that would have come after John, then I believe, or if it just kind of
I
stopped.
think the canon is closed since Revelation. I don't think there's more apostles that are getting new revelation now. I think that we have enough revelation there that keeps us busy, and we know enough about, what life's about, and when, and that Jesus is one day going to come back. We don't really need any more new revelation. I can't live up to what's already given. So.
All right, thank you.
What do you guys think? I think that was a excellent explanation on why we should be following, the Bible as opposed to anything that came after. And which is weird, even in the Quran, it says, if you have any doubts, refer back to your previous scriptures. But then they want to pick and choose, what's accurate and what's not within those scriptures. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just found it interesting. And I do like the way that Frank, speaks and answers these questions. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Again, like, subscribe if you're liking the content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.